Hi, my name is Goro Fujita, and in this demo I would like to cover spans. Spans are a very powerful feature in Quill that allows you to sequence and reuse assets. So the most simple way to show it is with a sound layer. So for example, if I play back, you don't hear any sounds right now, right? So there's no sound imported. It's the walk cycle that just keeps going. But I want, for example, to add footsteps. And instead of like importing footsteps like over and over again, so let me go to new sound layer here. I import a footstep sound and play it back. And you hear it once, right? In the sound options, you can make a loop, for example, or spatialize, so you can hear it actually from here. Let me show you quickly how to do this. You can just hit spatialize and move the sound here. And you can also grab and scale it as you want. And here you can change the attenuation. So green is where you hear 100%, and red is where it falls off. So I can make the red layer really big, and maybe the green layer a little bit large too. And if I hit play, you will hear like the sound repeating, right? But you want to sync it to the animation. So how do I do this? So I don't want it to loop actually. So let me turn off the loop. And then the first step is already sounding right. So let me put the sound maybe here. And the span controls are here. You can like delete a clip or like extend the clip to infinite. What that means is that you can press the bracket icon here to define an out point. Right? Now you see that the clip ends here. With this icon here, you can remove the clip's end. It will last forever. You can bring it back to what it was. If you accidentally delete a clip here, you can also bring it back with an in point right here. So now the clip is back, right? So I like where the position of the first step is. I need another step here. So instead of importing a new sound, well, obviously you could like duplicate it and move it over here, and then you have two sounds. Okay, maybe it's a little bit later, something like this. Okay, now you have two steps, but like it's basically a waste of space because you can actually use spans instead. So let me delete this layer first and then go back to this step. And as I want the next footstep to kick in, I'm going to just close the span, go to the hit in out point and create a new in point here. So I can also make this shorter. And now I use the footstep twice, the same sound twice, right? So this is really cool. So let me create an out point here. And now this clip, you can move it around as you want, and you can also delete it, right? So you can like, with these controls, you can basically delete and resurface spans. So I could go on and just create like new in and out points like that with the same sound, and you will see like it just keeps going, right? I only need to do it like twice because it should loop. But how do I make this these spans loop? In order to do that, you have to create a sequence layer, right? So you put the footsteps and the bot in there. And as it reaches the loop point of the bot layer, this is where you want the sequence to loop. So it's a sequence, and sequences can be looped. If it's a group, you can't loop it. So now it's a group. Now it's a sequence. Now it can be looped. So you bring the playhead to this position, to the last frame of the actual bot cycle, hit loop, and now look at that. And you can even see the sound matched. The visibility of the sound I'm going in and out, right? So another thing you can do with spans is, for example, if you have a looping animation, right? And then you want to basically take over the looping animation into a linear animation, and then you want to go back into a loop. This is also where you can use spans. So for example, let's say you have a looping animation here, where this guy is dancing for 30 frames or something. I just use the grab tool and like chick, 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 chick. Maybe he's like dancing back and forth just like this, right? But at some point you want to stop the animation. So let's say at like 4 seconds. Yeah, right here where the loop ends, right? And this is where I want to close the span, right? So I'm gonna close it. And what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna create a new frame up top, create a frame right here. So basically right here, right? What I'm gonna do now is like in this frame, so basically it's holding an empty frame until this frame. So in this frame, I want to take over the animation of this. So what I'm gonna do is like I go to this frame, select it, and now here in the controls here, where you have like remove frame, add keyframe, duplicate frame, you also have this thing called copy selection from to current frame. So now I have this frame selected. I go to this actual frame and paste it in there. What happens now is, if I play it back, once it reaches that point, it stops, right? And then I can do like a linear animation here. Maybe I duplicate the frame and then he's like bending down. Oh, and then he sees something and then he's waving at it or something. So I go like here. It's basically a post-to-post animation, right? So he's like, hey, what's up, buddy? Whoever he sees down there. So let's see. Hey. And then maybe he's waving. Hey. Duke. Let me undo this. Oops. Undo this and then go to duplicate frame. Hey. Duplicate frame. Hey. So now what happens is he said, hey. Okay. And now, and he goes back to dancing, right? And then I will copy this frame, this last frame that I had, right? And bring it, no, I create an empty frame first, and then I'm gonna copy the last pose so I know what to match it with. I'm gonna paste it in here using that function. So this is actually pretty good. And once he's here, I want him to start dancing again. And instead of like doing a completely new animation, I just open the span again. And then what happens is like I hit play, and then he's dancing. Then he's like, oh, hey, how's it going? And then he goes back to dancing again. Now this needs to be an empty frame, right? So right there. So it gets taken over, right? So then let's play it back. So he's like dancing. What's up? And then he goes back to dancing. So this way you can like combine like linear animation and looping animation in a very easy way using spans. So let me say, for example, you have like a house here. Right, this is your set. You have your trees. Let me space it out a little. Right, so this is your house. You get a little roof. Just quickly and maybe fill it in so you don't see through it. So this is like the house, right? So this is your establishing shot and environment 1. And then, for example, you have another shot where, let me duplicate this whole set, where basically you like at world scale with the house, you know, maybe you're like in front of the door, and we call it environment 2. It's already called like that. So let's say you want to use it in shot 1, and in shot 2 you need a different environment. In shot 3 you want environment 1 again. So this is another way to use spans, and spans are only used if the content doesn't need to change, right? So for example, I'm gonna say like, okay, environment 1 goes to up to 2 seconds, so I can just bring it up to 2 seconds. Then environment 2 will be from 2 seconds to 4. And then I have environment 1, and this works for groups as well as sequences, right? So now I have the environment 1, environment 2, and environment 1 again. So basically this is how you can reuse sets, but be aware if you change something here. And let's say you animate it, right? So let me fill it up with duplicated animations, and then I animate it over time. So now, obviously, it will also animate in this span because you're changing the original, right? So let me delete all the animations again. So anything you add here, so let's say there's some birds, it will be also added in the next span, of course, right? So this is like a very powerful feature to reuse stuff. So for example, I want to reuse the close shot again. You can use spans to do that. So this is like a very efficient way to save some memory and stuff like that if you have like shots that you want to reuse and stuff. And obviously this technique with the spans also works with groups. Just remember, if you want to delete them, you can delete clips like this. You can delete clips like this. If you want it to be back normal, just delete everything and hit this icon, and it will bring back the make like an endless clip out of that layer. Same thing here, you can delete, go to the beginning and hit this bracket icon, and now it's endless layers again. And this is how you use spans in Quill.